God is amazing.
Pastor who made headlines when he was robbed of expensive jewelry during a live stream church service has been indicted on federal charges.
Among the allegations against Lamore Whitehead, that he scammed a parishioner out of $90,000. And as CBS 2's Christina Fan reports, this isn't his first time in trouble with the law.
Pastor known for delivering sermons in designer suits and lavish jewels at Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministries is being accused by federal prosecutors of obtaining part of his wealth illegally.
Bishop Lamore Whitehead is not guilty of these charges. We are vigorously going to defend these accusations.
According to an unsealed indictment, Whitehead asked for money and other things of value from victims using threats and false promises. He allegedly convinced a parishioner to invest $90,000 of her retirement savings with him, but spent it all on himself. He is also accused of extorting a businessman of $5,000, then convincing the victim to lend him $500,000 more and give him a stake in real estate transactions in return for favors from the city government, which Whitehead knew he could not obtain. Whitehead has made news repeatedly this year, first in July when masked robbers stole an estimated $1 million worth of jewelry from him during a live stream service.
You want to come preach? You want to come preach? You want to come preach? Come on up here.
Then in September, he was briefly detained after clashing with a woman who interrupted him mid-sermon.
We feel that he is being targeted and he is being turned from a victim into a villain.
The bishop has a criminal history and was convicted on 17 counts of fraud back in 2008. The 45-year-old is now charged with 2 counts of wire fraud, 1 count of extortion, and 1 count of making material false statements. In Lower Manhattan, Christina Fan.
Jewelry during a highly publicized robbery at his Brooklyn church. Now, the so-called bling bishop is also poised to lose his freedom. Lamore Whitehead facing decades in prison after a jury convicted him today on federal charges, including wire fraud and attempted extortion. Prosecutors say he ripped off a parishioner's retirement savings, and tonight her family is speaking for the first time to News 4's Chris Jose.
It's been an emotional roller coaster for the past 4 years.
Rashid Anderson relieved tonight following the conviction of Lamore Whitehead, better known as the Bling Bishop for his lavish lifestyle. A Manhattan federal jury today finding Whitehead guilty of defrauding a parishioner and trying to extort a businessman.
It's been a long time coming, and we're very happy to see that the verdict was guilty today.
Rashid's mother, Pauline Anderson, invested $90,000 of her retirement savings with Whitehead. Prosecutors said he spent the money on luxury goods at Louis Vuitton and Foot Locker and even used Anderson's money to make his car payments. Rashid testified during the trial.
Yo, 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 it's Big Ant, the spokesman, man. We back. Another edition of Urban Politicians TV, UPTV. Make sure you stay on your pivot at all times, man. Had to come tap in as it broke into the news and up and down the timeline today that Brooklyn pastor Bishop Lamore Whitehead was sentenced to 9 years in federal prison for the fraud and scam charges that he was found guilty on back in March. And if you didn't know already, he done got so many viral moments online, the way that he presented himself, the fashion, the jewelry, the cars, like y'all see right there in the beginning. They didn't even give him a nickname, either Bishop Bling or Bling Bishop at this point in time. And I had a links in the description where y'all could watch those clips in the beginning in full from CBS. And we gonna get into the write-up in just a second to kind of get back over to what led us to where everything happened now. But in the beginning, you see what his presentation was and what he had on display. Oh, I'm riding big foreign cars, I'm rocking the jewelry, I'm doing the clothes. But what does that bring? A viral moment where the people will rob you while you live streaming in church. As you seen, hey, they pulled up on him. That went viral. And he been having these moments over the last couple years where, hey, when you got some type of money, we see you got it on you, they gonna think it's a lick. Niggas will come rob you, even if you doing good, even if you doing right. But if they peeping the play and seeing how you moving, they like, oh, no, we finna go get this one. We think he moving foul anyways. But they'll go do it if a nigga ain't doing nothing foul. So think what they'll do to a nigga who they think is getting active like that. And that's what went down with that situation. But then, once again, you see what happens where, hey, somebody else comes up there in the church. He went viral when he got into it with the lady during the sermon, got detained for a little bit right there. Came back and spoke even more. But most importantly, what got him to where he's at today is him leaving a paper trail. It don't matter how you slice the pie. It don't matter what you say. It ain't about what you know. It's about what you can prove. And when you have documented the paper trail of already having these type of charges on your background, they going to say, oh, you a repeat offender now. So you didn't learn your lesson the first time now. Back in 2008, he had the other 17 counts of fraud charges that he had to deal with. But you come back again and you taking the money from the people directly. This is why they gonna come with these type of sentences with this, because it's, hey, you ain't beating the system, dog. You taking what somebody that worked hard for, what they done saved up, what they done stacked, and finessed away into giving them to give you the money. But once you agree to a deal and you don't have the intentions of really executing that business plan, you're now running a fraud. You're running a pyramid scheme. You're doing it, whatever they call it. It's so many different terms and ways they use it. And him, you giving them the documentation of it once you engage in those type of conversations. And people gonna look at you crazy because, hey, you using the presentation of God for these things. It just is what it is. But the write-up says this: N.Y. Bishop sentenced to 9 years in prison for wire fraud and attempted extortion, feds say. Miller Whitehead made headlines in July 2022 when armed assailants robbed him and his wife of $1 million worth of jewelry during a live stream service, police said. A Brooklyn bishop whose authorities say stole from one of his parishioners was sentenced to 9 years in prison on Monday in a series of financial fraud crimes that netted him millions, federal prosecutors said. Bishop Lamar Miller Whitehead, 46, was convicted in March of wire fraud, attempted extortion, and making false statements to federal law enforcement agents, according to a statement from the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York. Miller Whitehead, a bishop at the Leads of Tomorrow International Ministries Church in Canarsie, made headlines in July 2022 when armed assailants robbed him and his wife of $1 million worth of jewelry during a live stream service, police said. The bishop was called a con man by U.S. Attorney Damian Williams. Lamar Whitehead is a con man who stole millions of dollars in a string of financial frauds and even stole from one of his own parishioners. Williams said he lied to federal agents and again to the court at his trial. Today's sentence puts an end to Whitehead's various schemes and reflects this office's commitment to bring accountability to those who abuse their positions of trust. You peep, they added something else on there after it all, making false statements to the feds. They charged them with that as well. Like, hold on, we got some extra we gonna put you on top of everything else you already did. But some people, they know what the game is already. To each his own. They willing to deal with those consequences if they up in the scam cycle, the finessing cycle, getting over on people, running the schemes. They're like, hey, I'm going to get it how I live while I can. I'm a stunt, I'm a ball, I'm a shine, I'm going to get fly, I'm going to wear designer, I'm going to cop ice. And when the day come, I just got to deal with it how I deal with it. That's just what they be having understood already. But I'm going to tell you the real, bro. When you taking other people's money and misusing it, finessing them out of what they worked hard for, and I'm talking about humans, not the system. Beating the system and beating the game, that's a whole nother thing. But when you directly attacking people personally and things like that and using their trust, as they said, it's going to come off even harsher in court. We just seen some scam cases, they don't get that much time, but he got 9 fed. I don't know how much time he going to have to serve. But man, it's been a wild storyline just seeing everything over these last 2 years with him. Tell me what y'all think. We got more coming, more videos, all that. 1000 for Shit Show. Stay on your pivot.